So the topic for this particular video will be Unified Modeling Language, or more commonly known as UML. First of all, let's understand what is UML. UML definitely stands for Unified Modeling Language. Unified means a single kind of language across systems. Now let's understand the definition. It's very straightforward. Now this is a standardized visual language used to model and document the designs of your software systems. Now when you're designing your software systems, how can you convey your design to other stakeholders? What do we mean by stakeholders? Your product manager, your tech lead, your architect, or anyone else who's trying to understand your design. How will you convey it? Now, one of the ways is you write the entire code and you show them, okay, this is how it works. But does it make sense? Everyone will not be able to understand code. Someone like a product manager, he'll be like clueless about it. Okay. The other way is I'll be writing a thesis, like 4-5 pager where I'm going to say, this is my class, these are the attributes, these are the methods, I have these interfaces, it's reacting, like it's communicating with this one, and everything in 4 and 5 pages. Again, that's going to be complicated because it will be a lot of theory and I'll have to read through it. And for anyone who doesn't have a lot of knowledge, he will drop off. He'll not be able to understand it because it will be technical. So that is why we'll have to figure out a common kind of convention so that we can follow that. And that is something that is understandable across the system. So that is why UML is nothing but a standardized visual language which we use to model and document the designs. We don't write code, we design. And in order to design, there are certain conventions that are already preset. We will be following that to convey the design of our software system. Could be could be the HLD, could be the LLD as well. Understood? It offers a set of diagrams. Now, there are plenty set of diagrams that is being offered to you. You can pick and choose what kind of design you want to convey to represent different aspects of a system. As I said, could be a low level one, could be a high level one, could be a design around the use cases as well. There are plenty that the UML offers. Now, getting a clear communication among stakeholders, as I said, through that design, you will be able to convey your thought process to the stakeholders and helping them to understand the design. Got it? So I think the definition is pretty clear. It's a standardized process that we follow to convey our design to stakeholders. And it's an easy process. Okay, so we understand the definition now. So how many official UML diagrams are there? There will be plenty, as I said. There will be something for LLD, there will be something for HLD, there will be something for the use cases where we will be talking through the use cases, how to implement them. So how many are there? So in total, there are 14. Yes, there are 14 kind of UML diagrams. UML diagrams are specifically broken down into 2 types. One is the structural diagrams. Now, these structural diagrams typically revolve around the code. It revolves around the code. There's one more, behavioral diagrams. So it is broken down into 2 types. Each type has 7 types of UML diagrams. Understood? There are plenty. I'll just be running through them, and in the next lecture, I'll be discussing the one required for the low-level design. Okay, the first one, class diagram. Now, this is very, very important if you're designing, like if you're into low-level design. This is the most important one, and this is what we will be following while we design bigger systems. Keep this in mind, and I'll have a full-length video on class diagrams in the next lecture. What is a class diagram? In very short, it will be showing you classes, interfaces, and the relationships between them. Perfect. The next one is an object diagram. If you want to dig deeper, you can actually go ahead and say what kind of objects are interacting with each other at what point of time. You can dig deep, but this is not that important. The other one is the component diagram. While you explain the software components and their dependencies. So this is where it's slightly on the higher level. Got it? The next one is composite structure diagram. Shows internal structure of a class and collaboration. You dig deep into the class and you basically say that, okay, inside this class, we are doing a database call, and all the other things you will be explaining in a composite structure diagram. Again, not important. Deployment diagram, the name itself conveys the definition, describes the physical deployment of artifacts, where your servers will be and everything around that physical part, the deployment part. Package diagram, you have a lot of files, you'll have a lot of things in your code base. Now it's going to organize elements into package and modules, like what kind of packages will you have under that structure and everything. This is where you define it. And the last one is the profile diagram. Now this is used to define custom stereotypes. Like a lot of times we say that this is my data repository. We have 3 classes that define the data repository layer. That means these 3 classes are responsible for the data transaction. So there are certain keywords that we give to certain kind of classes. So if you're going to define your design on that level, that is when you will be following profile diagram. Used to define custom stereotypes, useful for modeling extensions, profile, stereotypes, tagged values, and constraints. So again, it's a definition that you just need to know. Do you need to remember this? Not needed. The only thing that is required is the class diagram. Keep this in mind. Everything else, okay, just good to know. This will not be asked. Okay, let's get into the behavioral diagrams. The first one is the use case diagram. This is important, but is it important in terms of low level design? Not that much. Now, use case diagram is where you basically talk about the system functionality, what your system will be doing, how will it be interacting with the outside world, where there is a user who's using it, everything around that. We're going to define it in the use case diagram. In level of LLD, is it required? No. Good to know. Again, activity diagram, flowchart of operations, like from where the call is getting originated till where the call is going, how is it responding back, everything else in activity diagram. Sequence diagram shows interaction of objects in a time sequence. First, this one called this, then this one called this, then this one again called this, and so on. These kind of things. Communication diagram, like sequence diagrams, but emphasizes object relationships. You get into every instance, how it is communicating and everything else. Again, too complex, not required. State machine diagram shows different states of an object and how it transitions, like how the value changes, till how long the instance is surviving and everything else. Necessary? No. Interaction overview diagram, high level overview of diagrams where you basically do the HLD and other things. Again, not required under LLD. The last one, timing diagram, focuses on object behavior with respect to time. Now, most of them will look very similar, but when you go through them in depth, they have different kind of notations for each kind of things that they will be drawing. There will be different kind of rules that they have set, and according to that, you will be using it. But as of now, please focus on class diagram because we are learning low level design, and class diagram is the most important part. Everything else is just for theoretical purpose. I just wanted to tell you what is UML. That is why I have written them and I haven't gone deeper into them. If you want to go deeper into them, pause the video right now. If you want to study about, let's say, package diagram, open GPT or a Gemini, ask them to describe it and everything else. You'll get the definition, but do not run behind these things because the only thing that you will be needing is the class diagram, and that is what will matter. So please focus on this. And in the next lecture, I will be discussing the class diagram. So this will be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching.